We are back on the Jess Address.
And
everyone,
here.
yes, everyone's here at the moment. I was just sitting here wondering who's going to be my friend.
Were you like lonely?
I was so lonely, but Emma is back in the studio. You're listening to the Jess Address, and we have a very special guest, Kiah Sadler, who was the winner of one of the arts awards, the Kwinana Arts Awards. And if you didn't get down to see it, you were missing out. I absolutely enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey.
How do you feel being on radio? Nervous?
Yeah, it's a bit weird. I mean, I talked to my brother this morning, doesn't even know what radio is.
Oh, do you know what? That's actually really interesting. Do kids know? You know,
Well,
they know what
a podcast
is. Yeah, okay.
Maybe we should call ourselves a podcast so we're cool.
Yeah. I've never been cool, so yeah, probably not. People might expect too much of me if they start thinking I'm cool. I'm going to cough.
You'll get that out the way so you can ask some very important questions to this award winner. Can you tell us a little bit about the award that you won?
So what I know is the Kwinana Industries Council have been doing youth art awards for quite some time now. They have 3 very accomplished artists go through and judge all the awards. There is 6 categories. The one that I was the winner of is category 1, which is visual art 2D. There's obviously like 3D woodworks and photography as well.
Thank you for clarifying that, because I was a bit like 2D, so that means it's flat.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, flat. Yeah.
So that makes sense to me because obviously I viewed your artwork and I think it's a very worthy winner because it engaged me in a way that really made me think about what your story was, sending this to me, because I actually got a story and then when I read it, it was totally different to what I was thinking about. And I think that's what good art does. It makes you reflect on it and go, what do I interpret this as? And then to hear what you interpreted it as. Would you like to tell the story of your artwork?
Yes. Would you like me to read my
Yes,
statement?
please
Okay,
do.
Alrighty. So this artwork is called Harrowing. Harrowing means to be forced and pressured at a constant rate. Harrowing is acrylic paint and pencil artwork on a board coated with resin, depicting a young girl in black and white surrounded by bright blue surgical gloves. The style of this artwork is loosely inspired by Banksy, obviously because it was a school artwork we had to study an artist and mine was Banksy. So the black and white monochrome and then the, the vibrant colours.
It's always on radio. As soon as you want to talk.
I know, it just happened to me.
Yeah.
It must be contagious. No, you're good. It's all good.
All right, anyway.
Yep.
The limited vibrant colours draw attention to this piece. It speaks to the medical system and, oh my goodness, issues with consent and practicing on children.
Mm-hmm.
Often paediatricians will call this shortcoming of consent necessary abuse and will leave the child with long-term implications.
Yeah.
The child will often be traumatised and feel violated and essentially feel if their body is not theirs and they have no control. Harrowing by definition is the feeling of acute distress due to constant pressures. This artwork is positioned to give the viewer a glimpse into that feeling. With the repetition of gloves and mournful look upon the child's face, the viewer is made to feel uneasy, frightened, and possibly the viewer will begin to feel their fight or flight instincts kick in. The eyes of the girl, however, are not scared. While they are tired in expression, they are hopeful and strong. The child's eyes stare down at the viewer. The viewer can't look away. She is fierce. She is a fighter. Children subject to this abuse are among the bravest, kindest, and most hopeful people. They shouldn't have to be. Often children undergoing medical treatments aren't able to completely understand what's being done to them, let alone why they're being forced to go through uncomfortable and painful situations. While consent from the child is not always possible to obtain, medical professionals need to improve significantly on this shortcoming, explaining and helping the children to understand as much as possible, letting them prepare themselves and allow to feel like they do have an element of control over their treatments. By taking this extra time, medical professionals will allow children to not feel the trauma and violation previous generations have been subject to, and allow them to live a life where they don't feel like they must fight day in, day out.
It gives me goosebumps just listening to your artist statement. I feel like it really is a comment on our medical system and this understanding that kids should just do as they're told. But you have personal experience in this area.
Yes, I do. I was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis at 6 weeks old.
6 weeks old. So you've experienced firsthand this forcefulness of medical. Do you have favourite doctors?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So you let them come in, or was there a point in time in which you decided you would take a stand, or how does that work for you, or how does that work in the hospitals?
I was thankfully always taught to stand up for myself.
Yep.
My parents would always tell me to stand for what I think is right.
Mm-hmm.
And in a medical sense, that's really important because they will try and force what they think is right. And while sometimes it is beneficial, it is also good to have your own say with what's being done to your own body. You're not like a medical experiment.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do you make that stand then, Kiah? How did you get to stand up? Like, it's great that your parents gave you that power and control and understanding that it is your body, but how does a child take that step? It's huge. Well, this is a lot. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Sorry about the coughing. That's also just the CF.
No stress.
I was always quite stubborn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And would actually just tell them no.
Yeah, good. Can I tell you that I actually have taught my children, you do not have my consent. So when my son was getting his vaccinations, it was very appalling because he was shouting in the chemist, you do not have my consent. You do not have my consent. So all the people in the waiting room were listening to Jimmy going, and it was such a strong statement for him to have learned, because the person who was meant to be injecting him just stopped immediately and took a big step backwards because,
they need to feel like they have control.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time, I mean, they ask for parental consent, but none of that's actually for the child.
Yeah, wow, that's so
And
huge.
we are in a day and age where we're trying to teach kids that you're the boss of your own body. You're the ones that, you take control over, if you don't want to kiss somebody, you don't have to kiss. With your aunties and uncles, give them a kiss. No, you don't have to. If you don't feel that way, then you're allowed to say, no, that doesn't make me feel comfortable. And we're trying to instill that in children. I feel like it's only a new message, and you have just kind of brought it to the surface that within the medical industry is that ask your child, this is what's going to occur. Are you happy with this? How do we approach it? And maybe asking the doctor also, how do we make a child feel more comfortable about something that is quite invasive? Because some of these treatments, I'm not sure what you went through with CF, but I would imagine some of the tests and things were quite invasive.
Yeah.
And
if we didn't consent, I was held down by 4 people.
Yeah.
So...
No,
and I can hearing you speak gives me goosebumps and makes me see more and more into your piece of art, because it really is something that needs to be commented on. Oh, I feel really heavy right now. Like I want to be able to do something to make a difference here.
Well, I think it's actually awesome that this piece of art has actually made us talk about it, because it's actually not something that I've thought about. When, my daughter was actually quite sick when she was younger, and there was a lot of things that happened to her that I never thought about. I was actually more thinking about the trauma for me and how sick she was, rather than her experience with all this kind of, tubes being stuck up her nose and things like that. That would have been very harrowing for her as well. So, and she was incredibly young and probably doesn't remember all of that. But as you get older and all of these things, CF is something that you deal with for your whole life, isn't it? Yeah. So, you would have had treatment for a very long time, and how we approach that with children. And it's not just CF, there's other conditions as well. And the fact that your art has actually engaged this conversation and made me think about it, no wonder you are the winner.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it takes a strong kind of person to make this comment. So congratulations to you and strong parents to give you that that power and that understanding that you actually matter and you should have control. I think that that's probably something that is, as much as it is about educating the medical staff about saying how to get consent from a child, it's also about empowering the parents, because I don't know how easy it would be to stand up to someone who...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been a process, definitely. Mum has been through it all, obviously, and she's been there fighting for me, because if I said no, she would fight that no.
Yeah. Oh, wow. And that is a really difficult position to be in, when you've got doctors around you who know best sometimes in those situations, but don't actually are thinking about your child's welfare.
Yeah, so that's the balance, isn't it? They're thinking about the illness but have no understanding of the person.
And yes.
It's disconnected for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Look, I think your mum is an amazing lady. She is such a superstar, and I love how she's encouraged this strength of character in you, which I guess brings me to a question. Where does your artistic ability / inspiration come from?
Well, my mum's an artist, so I was always digging stuff out from under her bed and playing with it when she was asleep. There was numerous times where I'll just grab her painting supplies that are thousands and thousands of dollars and just make things.
Did she hide it under your bed? Did she hid it under the bed from you because she knew if she gets to it?
I think it's like hiding under the bed from me, but also from herself. She didn't get distracted from
Okay, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
But she wouldn't ever like get mad at me or anything. She's like, "Oh, that's really pretty."
There's $2,000 worth of paint in there. It's beautiful. So what's your favourite medium then? What? Yeah, that's the right word, because I've learnt that.
Yes.
Because I'm an artist now.
Fair enough.
Radio artist.
I recently actually only started drawing properly.
Oh, okay.
It was 2021 when I figured out I could actually do art.
Yeah, wow. That's not long ago. It's like 2023 now.
Yeah, I started ATAR and I'm like, I kind of need to make something, and just pulled something out of a hat. And I'm like, okay, I can actually do this.
Yeah.
So I use pencil. I use the Prismacolor artist pencils. But recently with this artwork, actually, I've been going into acrylic paints. So, yeah.
Can I ask you, and this is off the
That's all right. She can just say no.
look, given the fact that you've won this award, how does this influence where you go from here?
I think it's really shown me that I can make a difference with my artworks, and it is an important thing. It's not just like a little side hobby. I think I will keep going with my artworks and hopefully make some more.
Yeah. Because I'm really interested in, it's the Kwinana Industries Council that puts this on. And I love the fact that they do this and give opportunities to others to be able to present and show their work in such a professional way. When I walked in there, I was blown away by the level of ability in there and the amount of artwork that so many people that got the opportunity to get their art viewed. But I'm also interested to see what kind of opportunities that something like this gives artists like you.
Yeah. Well, once you have a few awards under your belt as an artist, it really just boosts
your confidence as yes.
Well, but also just like who you are as an artist, because if you have that on your portfolio that you've won multiple awards, you're more likely to get hired for commissions. Also, people are just more likely to buy your works because, it's award-winning. It's good publicity, really.
Have you had anyone interested in buying your work?
I have actually had an outstanding amount of people interested in buying.
Wow! Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you want to sell it though?
It's just hard because it is a school artwork.
Okay.
So it's just a bit of a with intellectual property.
Oh.
So it will be
explain that to me, because
I thought it was yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was a raised eyebrow there.
Yeah. So anything that's created within the school is technically the school's.
Oh.
Because we were students of the school, but I think there is ways and means around it.
Oh. That's really
Because I can see what you've done sitting in a surgery or a hospital or something where it is like that prompting of that point of view, and especially having your artist statement next to it. where it might empower some parents to actually go, hang on a second, my rights are to protect my child and I will do that. And not that doctors are trying to hurt our children or anything like that, but to make processes and, you know, a little bit easier for children and to just have that thought in your mind.
Yeah, it's interesting. My Sarah has broken many bones in the last few months, and when she went to get an X-ray once, the doctor, the radiographer, turned to me and said, "Are you coming in for the X-ray?" And I said, "You're asking the wrong person," because if she wanted me in there, then I'd be in there. But if she was confident to do it, but the look that you get when you direct, I guess Sarah is a lot taller than me, so maybe that was an issue for the doctor, but she is the most shyest, you know, she's a bit flighty and gets a bit scared. So it was really interesting to see the response from the radiographer that, you know, maybe this person needs an adult to come along with them. They let me in, but under much duress. But
they do get quite judgmental, don't they?
They do. And that's what I was thinking in the, you know, the empowering of the parents, because I actually don't care what other people think of me. And I sometimes think that's a problem because you know, I've got this great sense of self-esteem and no one can knock me down. Maybe I should be knocked down a couple of pegs, but I don't care. So I just walk in. But I can imagine that other people would feel quite nervous or quite shy or got that look and went, oh, okay, maybe I won't go in then. But
and doctors definitely kind of dictate a level of strength and ability, because you actually do want that in your doctor. You want someone who's confident and comes in there. But if you are a little bit shy or anxious of that, that can be overpowering. Yeah. And you can often lose your voice in that situation. And your artwork makes you think, no, I do have a voice and I should speak up. And that's that's
perfect.
a
They're
powerful.
Serve you.
That's exactly right. I often notice that with photographs. Now, sometimes with my daughter playing netball the way she does, I take my camera down and I take photos. And I very quickly learned, yes, you ask the parents for permission, but you also ask the girls. You also say, is it okay if I take photographs? Because for some of them, the answer will be no. Yeah. And I have been told many times by kids, no, I don't want my photograph taken. Well, that's okay. That is your right to say, no thanks, not interested.
Can I tell you, my number 2 was photographed at school, and they put the photo on the school the school Instagram page, and she reported it because it was an ugly photo of her.
But do you know, it's one of those things where you say, I'll have my photograph taken, but until you view that photograph and go, does that paint me in the best picture? Like, is that what I want to put out to the world? Then you can't say yes or no.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you say, oh, yeah, I give permission, but the permission should be given once you've seen the photograph.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it was a terrible photograph, and then it became a very funny thing in my family because she got every aunt and uncle to report the photo as well. Dear. And then they had their own hashtag going, I stand with Bethany. Only Bethany can do stuff like that. Now, can I ask you about the process to create this piece? Yes. Like, how long did it take? When? Because it's such a great idea, and I can imagine that the idea was there, but I would be maybe a little bit nervous about going with that idea. Was there ever any consideration of that, or you just went, no, this needs to be heard?
There was a lot of concept design. It would actually be helpful to have my portfolio here, but we had to show every part of our process to even be marked. So we just had to come up with an idea. I feel like it was something that I was quite passionate about. Our topic was social commentary. So, you know, I could have gone, I think my other classmates went down the road of social media, but I was like, it's a bit overdone.
Yeah.
And it's a perspective that most people already know, whereas consent against kids in medical systems is not exactly something everyone thinks about.
No.
So yeah, I went with that, and then there was a bit of designing, and then I was being stubborn as all hell with my teacher, as I usually am. And she was like, you should paint it. I'm like, no, I'm drawing it. So I started out drawing it. I always start with the eyes. That's why her eyes are quite engaging. I've found, after not looking at her for a while and then going in and seeing her at Kwinana, it was incredible how her eyes catch you across the room because they're so hyper-realistic. And also the resin over the top just makes it perfect. But yeah, I started with the eyes, and that took me a good 2 weeks. Just
Oh,
with the
wow.
eyes.
Yeah, wow.
She was a bit of a nightmare child, that one.
I've got a couple of those.
Oh, yeah. The original thing was to do the background in a chalk pastel,
Okay.
but we later found out, a little bit too later, that wax pencils, which are the ones I use, and a chalk pastel do not mix.
Oh, no.
So all the boards started buckling and cracking.
Oh, swear words.
Yeah, a lot of them. I didn't have very nice names for. No, but this is again where my mum comes in. We're both sitting there looking at her and figuring out the best way to go about it. We tried just painting over the top. I mean, I tried painting over the top. And again, because of the pastel back, it just all came off again.
Oh.
So ended up taking to her with a knife, which sounds really horrible. Scraped the entire thing back to the board and started again.
Yeah,
and
wow.
did it within a week.
Oh, wow. So I love how you talk about her. Like, you've spent so much time with her that she's, you know, part of your family almost.
She spent a lot of time in my house.
Yeah, yeah. Does she have a name? That's really interesting.
She had some very not nice names during the
okay.
process. But other than that, I think she's just harrowing.
Yeah.
No, it's just how we talk about her.
Yeah, wow. Okay, that's so beautiful. It's for me, it's really lovely to see this connection. Like, I don't, you know, my daughter locks herself in a room for 6 hours and then that's what she comes out with at the end of the day.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah, well, look, thank you. I appreciate that because I feel like that maybe I just think she's great because I pushed her out.
She's got a style. It's like little impressionist in it as well.
Yeah, look, I'm sorry, I'm talking about myself. I'm really good at talking about myself. And now I've lost my train of thought. So, yes.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. No,
Well, can I say that you started off feeling a little bit heavy in regards to the art and its piece because it is quite a heavy topic and you get to talk about it. But now you're feeling quite light and excited, not only because you've got lots of opportunities coming now, you've won an award, we've talked about the piece and realised it's actually very good because it instigated this conversation and education. And so now you're not feeling so heavy.
No, I'm not, but I want to know, are you working on anything at the moment?
Every now and then.
Yeah, okay.
I am working a lot, so I don't have much time. But I am looking at hopefully putting myself out there a bit more and maybe doing some wall murals,
Oh, awesome.
some bigger things to just put my name out there.
Are you in connection with the art centre at all?
I'm not, no.
No, because you know that they have opportunities for artists to do pop-up exhibitions.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah, you should have a look at that.
So I actually think that would be awesome and something that I would love to see with you. And that's kind of what I want to see is the opportunity for some of these winners to then go on and then present their work in another way. And so that we start to know who are our local artists, who do we engage with when these job opportunities actually occur. We want to employ locally.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's for me, I'm looking at you, I'm wondering, is there a difference between you had to create this because it was for school? So now that you're not at school and no one is telling you have to do a piece on social commentary, where does the inspiration come from and how does it happen, you know?
I think it's just passion, really. I've always been quite interested in going into a career with medicine.
Yeah.
So I think it's also just important to remind myself and everyone else that there is that other side to things like that, and just like everyday things. There's always perspectives, and I think that's what is important about art is it shows different perspectives and it opens your eyes a bit more. I mean, even with Harrowing, without that artist statement, you look at her and you feel something without reading.
I certainly did. I certainly did. When seeing yours, I certainly was engaged in an emotional way when seeing that.
Everyone can relate her to something in their personal lives, and I think that's what's important as well, because without that artist statement, she's still influential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's powerful, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is, and to know that you kind of possess that kind of power must inspire you to go, how can I do it again?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. So are you working on anything right now?
A few pet commission pieces here and there.
Yeah. Did you say pet commission?
Yes.
Oh, nice. That's really cute. It's a little bit lighter than Harrowing.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a rabbit that I'm working on at the moment, which is giving me grey hair. I can't do rabbits for some reason.
Well, you will be able to by the end of it.
Hopefully. But walked back into the art room at school yesterday, and I'm wanting to do a few more paintings now after walking back in there. I don't know, it's just something about that place.
Cool.
It's being in an inspiring environment too, isn't it? Like I think sometimes it's about being around other artists.
Yeah, absolutely.
And seeing their work and what medium they're working with. Thank you, Emma. And seeing and seeing, what they're doing, and then that kind of inspires thought in you to go, hang on, I've got an idea.
Yeah. So is there like a space like that? Like, do you know, because there's obviously English is not my first language today, but obviously for performers, there's like Whopper. So is there a place like Whopper for artists in Western Australia, or where do we find these groups of inspired people that help inspire each other?
I'm actually not too sure.
Yeah, that's all right.
I feel like everyone does have the ability to do it.
Yeah.
There's obviously a skill involved, and there's, you can go and study art at university and get that technical skill, and also learn how to write proper artist statements, how to analyse artworks, and how to compose them in a way that is effective. But I feel like for most people, studying art is not going to be a first choice, because...
Is that because you think, and do you think that that's because people don't see a career?
That too, yeah. Because obviously art and business are quite closely related.
Yeah.
I have studied business. I have a certificate for it, and I'm currently doing a diploma. I've had my own small business for about 4 years now.
Give it a plug.
Yeah, do.
Give it a plug.
Yeah, please do. Hang on, I'll find it on Facebook so we can share it. But what's it called?
It is called Kiah Collective. KALEA Collective.
I'm a fan already.
Yeah, I'm getting on there. Yeah. Like, we're all got our phones out now. Where are you?
Oh, the pressure. Unfortunately, it's been like temporarily closed just with work and finishing school and everything, but I'm hoping to reopen for this winter, actually. I create boutique pet products. I have an assistance dog, and it's where all the inspiration started for that side of things.
Yeah.
Just making cute things for her, because I've noticed that bigger stores do not sell exactly lovely colours of pet products.
Yeah.
That, or they don't all match.
Or stylish, or
like
cute.
Kind of.
So how did that start then, Kiah?
That was actually another school project we did the Right Journey in Year 9. It was just to boost who we are to the community. It started out as I made scrunchies and sold them. I raised $500 to Headspace.
Oh, wow, fantastic.
Yeah, and that was within a month. So the business has really been going. I've been learning how to market properly, and...
Oh, that's awesome. I've just shared it with Jess.
Yeah, so I'm getting on there.
She's all over it.
I don't actually know what my page looks like at the moment.
Now she's worried.
Now I'm self-conscious.
Don't be. You got time. It's all good.
Yeah.
So that was inspired by your dog. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Now tell me about your dog. What kind of dog is it?
She is a Border Collie cross Coolie. Coolies are pretty much dingo.
Yeah.
Nuts. Yeah.
It's just a nice way of saying mongrel. Basically. You didn't know that? I didn't.
No, I didn't know that.
But they're good service dogs, apparently, Coolies are.
She's incredibly intelligent.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because of the dingo in them, they're
smart.
smarter than Border Collies.
Yeah.
But she's a little pocker rocker.
Yeah.
And
look at us here all on our phones.
I know, right?
I'm just trying to find good photos, but actually my page is looking pretty bland at the moment.
That's okay. You've got time.
Kiah, look, I want to thank you so much for coming in here and sharing with us, the story of your artwork. I think this is just like a small step onto some really fantastic things for you, and I want to try and stay in touch with you. Given that you are a local artist, we want to support you and promote you. I want to know that this chair is always open for you if you ever want to share some more art with us. I would love that. Or if you know any other artists that want to come in and share their art with us, we would love that as well.
Thank you.
Excellent.
All right, we're going to listen to a little bit of music now, a bit of Green Day. Warm your day.